Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy and this is my weekly video blog. I post a new guitar tip here each and every Friday just for you. And you can see them all. If you're into binge watching, you could just sit there and watch them all. I think there's something like 40 of them up now. Something like that. And of course you can subscribe. There's a red button down below here. And if you hit that button just one time, you're in. So without further ado, what is the guitar tip this week? It is, are you ready? Unfriend the cliché. Unfriend the cliché. So what that's about is, in any style of music, in any kind of music you can play, there are usually certain cliches associated with that style or with that era if you're playing music from a certain time period. And those can be helpful as a kind of musical shorthand to let the listeners and the other band members and even to let yourself know, okay, we're going here now. We're going to a, whatever it may be, a Chuck Berry type of thing, or an Elmore James type of thing, or, I'm just naming people that I like. But, you could have other people in mind when you think of musical cliches or guitar-driven cliches. Pardon my French. And what got me thinking about this actually was, I was reading, there's a book by Joe Boyd. Joe Boyd is a record producer, among other things. And this is a book that he wrote, I think it came out in around 2006. It's called White Bicycles, Making Music in the 1960s. So in one chapter, he's talking about this band called Fairport Convention, which was kind of a, folk rock band, for lack of a better description. That's kind of what they were. Really early to blend the two, to blend folk and rock. And one of the key players in that group was a guy named Richard Thompson, who has continued to make records ever since then. He's a fantastic electric and acoustic guitarist, songwriter, singer. And so in this book, Joe Boyd is talking about Fairport Convention and about Richard Thompson specifically. And he says this. He says, Richard was the key. He can imitate almost any style, and often does, but is instantly identifiable. In his playing, you can hear his evocation of the Scottish piper's drone and the melody of the chanter, as well as echoes of Barney Kessel's and James Burton's guitars, and Jerry Lee Lewis's piano. But no blues cliches. Like Bix Beiderbecke or Django Reinhardt, he is unapologetic about his whiteness. So just a couple things just to clarify this passage, where he says, you can hear his evocation of the Scottish piper's drone and the melody of the chanter. In bagpipes, there are drone pipes, and then the chanter is the pipe that you play the melody on. So he's talking about how in Richard Thompson's playing, sometimes there's droning strings and melody strings, all, kind of two happening at the same time, droning and melody playing. So I didn't know what a chanter was. I had to look it up. And then he says you can hear some Barney Kessel, the jazz guitarist, excuse me, and Django Reinhardt, but just a little bit. Actually on Richard Thompson's new record, which is called Still, that comes out in June, there's a song on there called Guitar Heroes, where he actually sings about some of his guitar heroes, including Les Paul and Hank Marvin and Django Reinhardt, and then plays little passages that are reminiscent of them. But at the end of the song, he takes a longer solo and really asserts himself as, this is my style. And you can still hear, if you listen for it, echoes of these other players, but he's found something really personal. So again, he says, but no blues cliches. So in blues, obviously there's cliches you can play. You can play like B.B. King or Freddie King or Albert King or lots of other blues players. And it's fun, but that doesn't get you towards finding your own thing. And then he says something about being unapologetic about his whiteness, which, you know, those of you watching, whether you're white or not, whatever, be unapologetic about who you are. So the message here, when I say unfriend the cliche, what I'm saying is, of course it's fine to copy stuff. We can all learn a lot by copying the playing of great players. I've recently been transcribing solos by the late baritone saxophone player Pepper Adams. And that's really fun to do because the baritone sax is more or less, you know, in the range of the guitar, so it's easy to get at. As opposed to, you know, transcribing clarinet solos, you're just going to be way up here all the time. The baritone sax really is a nice register for the guitar. And Pepper Adams was really inventive, and his sound, you know, I don't know if you could get a guitar to sound like that, but it's fun to try. It's got a certain amount of honk to it. It's not shy. But at the end of the day, you know, I really try hard to leave that stuff in the practice room, on the music stand, as it were. And when I go out and play a gig or a recording session or whatever, I'm not really, I don't look at real music as a place to show off all the stuff that I've been transcribing or copying or imitating. I just put all that stuff aside and just play. Of course it informs your playing, and of course if you do a bunch of transcribing of one player, it's gonna make its way into your playing, but I never try and force it. You know, in the practice room, I'll do everything I can to copy Pepper Adams, say. And then when I'm done with that part of my practice, you know, maybe I'll take a break, go make a cup of coffee, or you know, just go on to something else, so that it's in there, and you know, it's in here and it's in here, but it's not. Hopefully, it's not the only thing you hear. So another part of that quote of Joe Boyd talking about Richard Thompson, he says, you know, he's instantly identifiable, and that's really true. So I would encourage you, first of all, to listen to yourself. And I've said this in other tips, but I'll say it here again. You know, record your live shows, record your jam sessions, record your rehearsals, whatever, and listen to it. It may not be fun to listen to yourself, or it may be. It may even be painful sometimes, but listen and take notes and really try and pay attention to, excuse me, to what you sound like, to what you're playing and what you're up to on the guitar. And if you do hear a little too much of your heroes coming through, see if you can find intentional ways to distance yourself from what they do. So, you know, if they do a certain kind of gestures all the time, make sure you take those gestures out of your playing. So, you know, this is a tricky one, because I would totally encourage you to get to know the cliches of any given player or any given style or any given era. I think that makes you a well-rounded, well-educated musician, to know the history and know, you know, the different threads that run through different schools of playing, different styles, different genres, different eras. But when it comes time to really sit and play, or stand and play, or whatever, just unfriend the cliche. Let it go. Mute it. Silence it. Dislike it. Whatever. Whatever that is for you, just cut the cord. Okay? So that's it for Guitar Tips. I'm Adam Levy. Please, if you have not already subscribe now, and tell your friends. You can share this on whatever social media you're part of. And I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your comments. I try and reply to anything that you guys have to say. And I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned and take good care. I don't know, maybe now that's a cliche.